Welcome to Newsquest Wales. For advertising, please press 1. For editorial, please press 2. For newsdesk, please press 1. Newsdesk.
Well, hi, Newsdesk. How you doing?
All right, thanks. Who's that?
Oh, this is Nathan Young. I called and got in contact a little while back about a fasting protest. I've written in to ask if you'd consider giving it any reporting merit.
Have a look at it. What are you fasting for?
Have you not been able to read the statement I provided?
It's very, very detailed. But to be honest, I couldn't really get a handle on what the issue was.
Well, it's basically the summary of allegations that accompanied that statement.
What allegations? What are you accusing them of?
Do you want me to read you the statement?
No, tell me in your own words.
Well, I'm going to have to refer to the statement, as I'm sure you'll understand. If that's okay?
Yeah, that's okay, yeah.
No problem. Bear with me just a second. You say there's been a sequence of actions by public officials who are very closely professionally and politically associated in order to conceal some very serious misconduct.
So what specifically are you talking about there?
Say again, sorry?
What actually are you talking about there? What specifically have they done?
Well, specifically, the biggest pain in my neck on this one is obviously Gwent Police denying me the opportunity to report offences in violation.
What offences did you want to report?
Oh, a wrongful calling the police, obviously a wasting police time, but with a view to...
Who's called the police on you?
I would seriously encourage you to have a look at the summary of allegations.
I need to ask questions because it's not clear. Who's called the police on you?
That was Coidiva Primary School.
And what did you do? Or what did they claim that you did? What was the accusation?
What had happened was, obviously now there's Welsh government law for the family and communities engagement team. The school is supposed to give you support. It's open to everybody. It's enacted by regulations. So I was hoping that with the school it being an institution that we're all encouraged to trust, would allow me to access that service so that I could bring to the fore the nature of the problems that we'd been having. And instead, obviously, because they decided that they didn't want to do that, they actually falsely called the police to say that I was being very threatening at the school, which obviously caused me a very...
You've got a child at the school?
I do.
Okay. And so what did you want the school to support you with in relation to your child?
I wanted access to the families and community engagement. Obviously, this...
Why, though?
Why?
Why did you want that? Why did you feel like the family? Do you have contact with your child?
Yeah. We're a normal family.
So why do you feel that your family needs the support through the school? Is there something happened?
Yes. And
do you want to elaborate on that? What specifically has happened?
Sure. So following the transfer of council housing stock from Torfaen to Bronavon, I was subjected to many punitive measures because I used to raise concerns about general housing rights issues after that transfer. When they were piloting the universal credit in the area, I tried to bring their attention to the fact that they were sharing on a widespread basis data between tenants financial data of tenants in violation of data protection. And they continue to do that. And as a punitive measure, they withdrew help that we had at the time for council tax, which is fraud. It caused us a financial...
So you were accused of not paying your council tax?
No. We were in receipt of a bit of help with the council tax at the time. I was on a relatively low income. And then, like I say, the decision to withhold that was done punitively, which, like I say, is fraud. I went to the court to defend then a claim for unpaid council tax, and as my statement says, the senior finance officer in attendance at the court persuaded me that there had obviously been an error made. However, she then went on to obtain judgment, which is the very definition of perverting the course of justice.
Right, so what is this in relation to the school then?
Well, I'm walking you through it.
Right.
Okay, so after the council officer had perverted the course of justice, I turned to Torfaen Citizens Advice, as you'd be recommended to. But unfortunately, I was assigned a caseworker who was a personal friend of that finance officer, which is all very evident in the subject access request that I made. During that time, so that they would no longer have to help me, Citizens Advice then claimed that I had been threatening in my conduct with them, which I hadn't. So I contacted Gwent Police. I tried to make a self-referral. I said, hey, apparently I've crossed the line here. So then Gwent Police became aware. Gwent Police had obtained a very detailed report that I had prepared for Torfaen Citizens Advice about the information that I've just relayed to you. That included substantial information about potential criminal conduct by the finance officer, by other people at the local authority, and they never did anything. The only thing that they did, without ever questioning me, was give Torfaen Citizens Advice a crime reference. Now, I don't know what that was for, because I was never questioned. Because I wanted to complain to the police, it's my understanding that Member of Parliament, one of the very few duties that the Member of Parliament has, is to help you with complaints to the police. So after discussing things with our MP for Torfaen, unfortunately, we weren't really getting very far, and then I was made aware that our MP was a former trustee of Torfaen Citizens Advice. And unfortunately, when I questioned him about that, he closed the case and refused to help me anymore. So in 2020, I tried to publish allegations of things that had happened then.
Right.
It wasn't for a year after, despite being contrary to Independent Office of Police Standards rules, that Gwent Police got back to me about my complaint that I'd made to them, in which they said, oh, well, nothing's going to happen. We don't see anything to happen. Now, as I said in my statement, I was able to obtain from a principal person at Torfaen very revealing emails directly from the Section 151 officer, the person who is legally responsible for making sure that the local authority acts within the law, saying that it had been dealt with at an executive level, but then, in contravention to the anti-fraud and corruption policy, because I had already approached the school asking for their help as an institution that we are all encouraged to trust.
But what did you want the school to do?
Stand up for us, intervene.
In what way? How did they stand up for... What would they be expected to do?
No, they're a vital part of our community. We're all told if you're worried about something, you speak to somebody you can trust.
Yeah, but realistically, what did you expect them to do?
Well, to at least question what was going on.
What? In what sense?
But it's not in our son's interest that these things happen to us. We're very much on our own. It's a very clear clear point. They're trusted members of the community. They just wanted them to help.
So in what way? Were you in arrears with your rent? Were you in arrears with council tax? Were you in arrears with,
No. We were unable to have fair treatment from the police because they were too busy protecting their colleagues.
Okay, I don't think there's a story in this for us, if I'm honest. I'm not very clear on what it is that you're trying to achieve.
Well, I respectfully suggest that that's quite a poor take on a very clear statement and a very clear summary of allegations.
I'm not clear who you're fighting. You seem to be fighting a number of different organisations, and I can't see why.
Well, that's for your perspective. I can.
It is my perspective.
I can accept that. Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. I mean, what are you hoping to achieve from the hunger strike?
Acknowledgement of these allegations.
For what aim?
It's in the public interest. Public money has been used to facilitate this. They've used public funding to act in this way whilst acting in a public duty, in their public capacity. And obviously public money is being spent.
There's absolutely no evidence of corruption whatsoever.
As I'm very, very clear, I'm more than happy to show it's all in writing. I got all emails, everything. I'm happy to produce that for an independent assessment. Like I say, with respects to the Argus, you were very keen to publish far more spurious claims by Councillor Wildgus than by Farouk Taskia.
About what?
About corruption. You've got stories on your website. Fred Wildgus made a claim that the council was partial. You reported it, and the council voted to refute that.
Well, all the best for your hunger strike, but I'm not sure that it's going to be a story for us.
I understand that's your position. That's no problem.
Thank you. Bye now.
Have yourself a good afternoon.